So let's get into the man, the myth, the legend himself, Michael Proctor.
Let's do it.
So Proctor is definitely the villain in all of this. Some could say he's the reason that we're in the midst of a retrial.
Really?
Oh, for sure.
All right.
So is he really the evil mastermind guilty of trying to frame Karen Reid with John's murder, or is he just a crude man who let his emotions get the best of him regarding the death of a fellow officer, which resulted in some pretty regrettable texts? You be the judge.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't think the two are mutually exclusive.
You know what the best part is? For you, this must be like an internal battle because it's just like it's cops against cops. So it's like you're like, I always side with the cops.
It's hard. I don't know where I lean yet on this. It is very hard because once I get like I like authority, I love rules, I love
the best.
I love
rules.
Like enforcing it. I don't like to follow them myself, but I love that there are rules. But once you are corrupt and you start lying and manipulating the system, you're done in my eyes.
No, can I tell you that I know a few cops. My old boss's husband was a cop.
Mm-hmm.
He super early retired, like in his like early 30s, from being an officer to become a denturist, which
sounds about right.
But he told me some of the most horrific stories that just I was blown away by. Like he said that like they used to do this thing and it was like a fun game to them where they would try to get as far away from their jurisdiction as possible and like take pictures of themselves being somewhere wild. And before like they got a call, so they were like required to do anything. And like they would literally cross the border into America and like take pictures of themselves with like certain things. Like just being shitheads. And he told me, and he was like, because he was blown away by all this stuff. When he was a very like rookie, he was just out of training. A bunch of other officers played this joke on him where they said that there was like something going down in this old abandoned house.
Oh no.
And so he went in, his partner was like, oh, I don't have whatever, like it was like cuffs or something like that. Like you go in ahead of me.
Oh my God.
And so he went in and he had gun drawn in the dark in this house. His partner's behind him. And one of the other officers was behind a door and jumped out to scare him in the middle. I'm like, he had a gun.
Oh, that's like, fantastic.
Do you want literally top 3 ways to get your face blown off?
And I would think probably not spending a lot of time in jail for that murder.
He wouldn't spend any time in jail.
Right?
Like, yeah, I don't, it's very, very wild to me. But all that being said, I guess it's not really cop against cop because it's really a lot of cops against Karen Reid. But yeah, so yes, Michael Proctor, he sent a bunch of regrettable texts, not only regrettable texts, but he was very, very quickly discussing the case with people who he wasn't supposed to be discussing the case with, like hours.
Like anybody?
Hours later. So he was supposed to be the lead investigator on the case after the Canton police had arrived and the first officer on the scene, Michael Lank, he had realized his connection to the Alberts family, along with them not being authorized to investigate if this was a homicide. The Canton PD had to recuse themselves from the case, and in walked the Massachusetts state officer, Michael Proctor. I know you're aware of the texts.
Is that what you drew here, by the way?
Michael Proctor. Oh, no, that's a thumbs down.
Oh,
thumbs down.
I thought it was subliminal.
0 stars. So let's refresh your memory. In a group text with 9 of his friends, Michael Proctor began discussing the case the same evening that he was assigned to it.
Ugh.
So these are probably his most infamous texts. Mm-hmm. He talks about Karen Reid, who suffers from Crohn's disease. And when a friend asks if she's attractive, he says that she's a babe, but has a weird Fall River accent and no ass. And he then says that she has a leaky balloon knot and then follows that up with it leaks poo.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And a balloon knot is what?
You know what? You take the lead on this. You go ahead.
Well,
picture it. Picture it, folks.
There's a balloon knot right there. Okay, can you see that?
It's pink starfish.
That's right. Oh my God. Amazing. I'm shocked that they knew. I guess they were all friendly with her, right? Would they know that she had Crohn's? It's like, how is that known?
That's a fantastic
Or is it like
question.
a Chris Rock, Jada Smith at the Oscars and makes the ball joke didn't know she had alopecia.
Well, that was a
joke.
physical observation. So I don't really.
But I mean, like, is he saying the butthole thing without even knowing that?
Oh, you mean he just got lucky?
Yeah.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day?
Exactly.
No, I definitely don't think. You know what? I don't think leaky poo is the first insult you just randomly go to.
Okay, let's cross this off.
Yeah, you're like, change your name in my phone again.
Great leaky poo. Hello.
No, I think he must have known. He was going through her phone. So that might have had, but this was only hours later. That's a great question. And I've wondered that myself.
Maybe there's like, you know what? Because they do a lot of like fun runs. Maybe they saw her at a fun run or something like for Crohn's. Or maybe they don't run. Maybe it's like a standstill. Oh, it wouldn't. I don't mean that as a joke, but I don't think they would have a Crohn's run. It wouldn't be a fun run. It'd be a quick one. It'd be a fast.
It's like a 100-meter run. You're an asshole, Matt.
Scooting.
You're no better than Proctor. I don't know, and I don't think it was a happy mistake either. So I think
man, that's fucked up to bring up somebody's medical history like that. Like, it's also fucked up to like insinuate that they got a leaky butthole from what I thought was, sex stuff.
Yeah, we talked about this before we started recording today, and Matt thought that he was calling her easy.
Yeah.
Because she
had a loose butthole.
Because of all the anal
that she had received.
But I don't think, you know what? I think if you're calling somebody like easy, you don't go with loose butthole. Well, maybe loose butthole, but not leaky poo.
That's a good point.
But what do I know?
Apparently nothing about leaky poo.
No. But yeah, so he's having this conversation. This is only hours later. I don't think he had even been to the scene.
Oh my God. He's already discussing balloon knots and poop.
And like one of the other guys is like, because it's people that he's been friends with for 30 years. One of the other guys is like, haha, no ass bitch. And then he like laugh emojis it. They made him rate it all. It was extremely painful. They did not call him this time around, but his buddy who was on the group chat had to come and read it. And lucky for him, he did not respond to any of these. So it was just a bunch of other guys with Proctor having this conversation. It was like, that guy was probably never happier to have had a meeting that day.
Right. Yeah. Missed all the,
I've never. Oh. He's like, even when they were like, he was testifying, they're like, he was like, okay, now read this second page. And he's like, these aren't my words. So I feel really uncomfortable saying them. And then so the defense attorney went and spoke with the judge, and he came back and he was like, how about if I read them and you can just confirm that that's what was said?
Oh my God.
Do you feel better?
Judge?
Well, there's a lot of like C-bombs and like he does. Okay. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So more importantly, though, I think than just him being vulgar is that when his friend asks him if the homeowner is going down for this, he says nope, because he's a Boston cop.
Oh God.
He then discusses the case with his sister Courtney, essentially like right out of the gate. It's like he got the call. He's like, hey,
Court, call me back. You gotta hear this.
Do you want to be the lead investigator on this case? And he was like, yeah, I do. I gotta call Courtney before I go to the to the scene. And he did. And she's like asking him all these questions. Is it a homicide? He's like, don't tell anybody. Top secret. But yeah, so he has this conversation with her. He calls Karen a cunt and a whack job.
Oh my God.
He says that he hopes she unalives herself.
Oh.
His sister now, who is friends with Colin Albert's mom, Julie. How's that on your diagram? Is that...
I don't think Julie Nagel?
No, Julie Nagel was one of the witnesses.
Julie Albert.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So she is friends with... Okay, so his sister who is friends with Colin's mom, Julie. So Courtney, Julie, buddies. That's why Colin was in the wedding, or the...
Right.
So Julie... Courtney texts Trooper Proctor saying that she had just spoken with Julie. She indicates that it was after a meeting that he had to have with her and discuss, the events. And so she says, Julie wants to get you a thank you gift after this is all over.
I'm sorry, to the investigator of this is to Proctor?
So to Proctor, his sister says, talk to Julie and she wants to get you a thank you gift after this is all over.
That is very odd. And
Okay, so if you're involved in something illegal and somebody talks to you about it, you don't get them
like
a case of beer.
like a bunt cake.
Yeah.
No,
Or
you
depending
don't.
on the season, maybe a fruitcake.
Or or maybe a pie.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who are we to
Homemade.
judge?
So some clam chowder.
Oh, yeah. Clam chowder.
So yeah, she's like, yeah, no, she wants to get you a present. And he says to get the gift for his wife because during all this investigating, quote unquote, his wife's been stuck home with the kids. So get the gift from my wife.
Get her something nice.
So he also says in different texts that the girl is going down for all of this. He says we're going to lock up that whack job. And one super charming exchange. It's so beautiful. It's almost poetic. In a police group chat, which he's in with his supervisors, by the way,
gross.
he says, and I can't say the word, but he says, funny, I'm going through his R-word client's phone. No nudes so far.
Oh my God.
Why
using the R
do
word?
birds suddenly appear?
Like these are, yeah. I mean, I guess cops have I mean, you're in that, I guess you got to have kind of a gruff sense of humor.
It's almost like gallows humor, but like
yeah,
it really
it's so fucked up.
In more than anything, it lends itself to the fact that he was very much against Karen Reid right out of the gate.
Very biased.
Yeah, like he knew before he saw anything that she was the person that was going down for all this. He hadn't even been to the scene yet.
Boston Cop didn't have to. The homeowner's Boston Cop.
Stop being so weird.
It's been a family home for years. He'll never sell it.
He's like, I literally have other places to be. I have to jockey all of these cars around with my buddy Higgins.
That's right.
So those lovely messages, along with the fact that he never went to the house, he never looked at any flooring to see if there was blood or anything. It was all wrapped up for him before he even went into the scene, which is insane. So Proctor and Yuri Buchanek were in charge of all of the evidence, but for some reason, it did not make it to the crime lab for 6 weeks. So, his clothes, the taillight pieces, all of this stuff, like this biological evidence that was taken from the scene, it was just like sitting in their living room somewhere. And not to mention the way they took these pieces of evidence, because, they really didn't think it was like a homicide. At first, they thought it was just like a hit and run kind of deal. So they took it. They went and asked the neighbor if they had anything that they could collect evidence in. So they then began scooping. Matt, I swear to God.
Mm-hmm. Never mind. Go ahead. Continue.
They began. So they said it was a sealed, which I mean, maybe has some relevance, package of red Solo cups. And they began scooping the bloodstained snow into the red Solo cups, which they then placed into a paper Stop and Shop bag to be transferred.
Okay.
But also worth noting that there was no DNA or biological tissues on the broken pieces of the taillight. Which seems kind of important because I will show you his injuries very shortly. Also, something that I watched someone testify about for much longer than I felt good about. There was one singular hair of John O'Keefe's on the back of Karen's Lexus. When they had the expert on the stand who examined the car, they display a bajillion, cophillion, hohillion photos. That's right.
Got it.
And they show one picture of the hair that's on the bumper and from 85,000 different angles. Yeah. It was like Kim Kardashian's selfie friggin'
hair over here. You look great, hair. Who you wearing? Over here, hair. Any hot other hair that you're interested in dating? What's the hottest style this year?
But so this hair actually moved on its own from picture to picture, assuming that it was caused by either, the wind of a movement or like maybe the breath of the person who was taking the photo.
Oh. Don't get your breath on hair.
Yeah, stop getting your breath all over this hair.
Stop breathing on hair evidence.
So what we're led to believe, though, is that this hair who made it through, first of all, the ride home, because, we're assuming that this hair got transferred when she hit John, right?
Yes.
So it made it through the whole drive home, and then the next day in a blizzard out looking for him forever. And then it went to her parents' house, which then got picked up by a tow truck driver, got brought to the Sally Port, Proctor was back there just farting around for however many minutes. And then it was finally brought to these people. And that hair was so fastened on there that it withstood all of that. But then it moved when somebody was like nose breathing. Yeah. The nostrils on this lady, though.
I think I'm already biased because there has been already some nefarious, just questionable things that everything it pulls.
Questionable is the nicest way of putting it.
It pulls everything into zero incredibility. Zero credibility. The credibility is incredible.
Though. But no, you're exactly right. That's once one thing is so blatantly skewed, you're like, other things have gone wrong here, and I'm looking for them now.
Yeah.
So that's why, and the jurors of the retrial, like, give me a break. Are you people saying that so you guys just don't read or go to the house or?
Yeah, and they're probably saying, listen, we scrambled, we didn't have evidence bags, but we did the best we could. We tried, and it's like, okay, well, at least they put up an effort. But it's like, but you didn't. You knew exactly what you were doing, allegedly.
And did you ever reimburse that neighbor for those cups?
For the solo cups?
I mean, times is tough.
Yeah, what if they're going to have a flip cup tournament on the weekend?
Yeah, a January flip cup competition with your good buddies.
We used to have summer parties in the winter at my buddy Jay's house.
Did you wear shorts and stuff?
100%. We turned the heat up, shorts, Hawaiian shirts, Beach Boys.
You cannot convince me that you just didn't do that because you wanted to show off your calves.
I'm not going to try to because that's exactly why.
I'll never tell. So yeah, I mean, that hair had some willpower to stay attached to that car, but
could have been a pube.
Pubes
they are industrial strength hair.
It's like Gorilla Tape.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I've always said that. So Sergeant Yuri Beck-Hennick was in charge of overseeing Michael Proctor's work. You did a bang job.
So far, you've done great.
You're really good at your job. So he testified this time around, and he was kind of put through the ringer a little bit, obviously. He said that he was also reprimanded. He was like, listen, the shit that he got away with, I also...
Listen, I caught a lot of shit for that.
Got chastised. It's like, yeah, because you're supposed to make him not do that stuff.
That's what happens when you fuck up. You get in trouble. That is ideally.
And he was one of the people in on that the R-word group chat. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So he was
Yuri Butnick. Idiot.
He was the sergeant who testified that the video of the Lexus in the Sally Port he's like, yeah, no, that's fully exactly how I remember it. And and then when they were like, this is mirror image, and he's like, no, yeah, I know that. He's like, I meant it was fully how I remember it, but it doesn't have to be the right way for me to.
Sorry, Your Honor. No, it was my right. Yeah, I know. Sorry, Your Honor, because you're left-handed, you're just seeing a different POV.
It's weird for me because I'm always looking in my rearview mirror. So I'm not always the most accurate when it comes to that kind of stuff. You know what? If our cameras don't die, I want to show you that video after I'm done this script so that we can get your reaction.
All right. And then I want to show you a video after.
I am scared. There's and we are not on international waters, so it's fully legal here. That's right. So yeah, to me though, when I watch that video, and I think I will show it to you, and that's the reason I want to show it to you, is because even when I was watching it when it was flipped, I was still seeing the passenger side. Right. Until they actually visually showed me that it was flipped. I was like, oh shit. Even though I knew it,
but that alone is so corrupt.
Yeah.
There's so many purposeful steps that you have to take to do something like that you are fully aware of exactly what you are doing. And
yeah.
That right there should be everybody's thrown out of here.
Everybody's, you know what? You're all going to jail.
Yeah. Karen, you come up here. You're the judge with me. You come sit up here on my bench, and then we're going to send all these. What?
Don't get me wrong. As much as these free Karen Reed people, they really have a purpose. And a lot of them are from Massachusetts. And they said that there's been so much corruption for so many years that maybe this was just the case, that they saw hope to get this to stop.
Yeah.
And so they're, if that's the case and there's been all of this corruption for so many years, then yes, they're passionate about it for a reason. But there's a huge Free Karen Reed, fan base, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I'm not in that category. I don't think she's that great of a person.
Right.
I think she's kind of mean. And the fact that she's like laughing and joking and like imitating John's mom in her documentary and all that kind of stuff, I think that's pretty shitty.
Yeah. Poor choice of words. A little offensive considering who you're talking
I
about.
think that's pretty leaky balloon knot.
Oh my God. That's very accurate.
Thank you so much. I adjusted it. I fixed it for.
Yeah, that was the offensive.
I'm trying to be polite. But I don't love her. She was out driving drunk. Like, don't fucking do shit like that. You asshole.
Mm-hmm.
But asshole and butt, as when there's Lukey Balloon knots, just
wow. This is when I feel how you must feel sometimes when I'm talking.
Just so much potty talk.
So much butthole talk.
But yeah, all that to say that like to say that there's not reasonable, like to say that she did this without a reasonable doubt is so absurd to me. Even though I don't like her that much.